Okay, so just a quick talk through these questions. I have to say, very impressed. Most people have done very well with these. So question one, the table. Generally, this was absolutely spot on. Common mistakes or things to watch out for. Ella's seemed to go wrong a fair bit. People were getting the wrong answer to the amount of a number of units she transferred. Trick there is you're doing 49901 minus 49205, which if you do that on a calculator or by other method gives you an answer of 696. And a few people had a miscalculation there, so that one should be 696. And then obviously if you got that one wrong but had a knock-on effect on the price here, so the actual answer there should be £83.52. Also had a couple of odd things where people missed out a zero or got the decimal points wrong. So for example, I saw quite a few of these in the bottom corner, £122.70, when it is actually £122.07. So just watch out for things like that when you're doing your conversions or switching in or putting in things in currency. The equation question was generally pretty good. If you have to write down an equation, you can't get away with using an equation triangle, unfortunately, which a few of you did. I mean, you weren't wrong, but if they were being picky about marking it, then it wouldn't work. What you do need to add in, though, is you need to show that you've done something along these lines: the recent reading minus the previous reading. So that gets you the number of units used, and then you multiply that by the price per unit, and if you combine that, that then gives you what you're being charged or the cost. So you can phrase that in slightly different ways, but anything that gets that across is fine. Quite a few people didn't make this bit clear, so you need to make sure you're showing that you need to work out the number of units used first, then multiply it by the price per unit. But again, that was actually pretty well answered in most cases. So to answer the next set of questions, I've completed the table there. So who paid the most? Well, we can just look at that and see very clearly that Darcy paid the most for her electricity overall. So the same electricity company doesn't come down to how much you're paying, it comes down to how much you're paying per unit. So for example, we've got 11 pence per unit here and here, so Lucille and Sophie are probably with the same company, but we've also got 13 pence per unit here and 13 pence per unit here if you calculate it correctly. So Edith and Darcy are also likely to be with the same company. So you've got, for question 2, Sophie and Lucille, because they're paying the same price per unit, but also Edith and Darcy are likely to be with the same company because they're also paying the same price per unit. On to question 3. Edith and Sophie, so we're talking, oops, wrong button, sorry, we're talking Edith and Sophie have paid similar prices. Who's getting the better deal? Well, Sophie is only paying 11 pence per unit, but Edith is paying 13 pence per unit, so Sophie is getting the better deal. Number 4, Arthur is upset. He thinks he uses less appliances as me, so his bill should be cheaper. Is he correct? Explain why Esme's bill is cheaper. So if we look at Arthur, where's Arthur? So Arthur is paying £91.20 for 456 units that he's used, whereas Esme is only paying £76.60 and she's used more power. And the difference is the fact that Arthur is paying 20 pence per unit, whereas Esme is only paying 10 pence per unit. So his bill is right. So Arthur's bill is correct. He's also correct in he has used less power. But the difference is he is being charged by his company twice the price for each unit that he uses. So basically Arthur should switch companies as soon as he can. Okay, questions 5, 6 and 7 were the ones that seems to cause more difficulty. It's about whether they should switch or not. So the trick with these questions is you need to think about what they're paying now and how much they use, and if they switch, would they save or not. So let's look at Lucille. So Lucille is currently using 101 units, and it costs her at the moment £11.11. If she were to switch, she would have to do so for the first 100 units. If she were to switch, would cost her 25p each, which would be 100 times 25 would be 2,500p, or £25. Plus there'd be another unit at 9p, which will cost another 9p. You add those together, so she'd be paying a total of £25.09 if she switched. And at the moment, obviously, she's paying a lot less. So no, she definitely should not switch. Same process with Esme. So Esme uses a lot of electricity. So she uses 766 units at the moment, and that costs her £76.60. So if she switched, her first 100 units at 25p would cost her £25. But then she's got another 666 units at 9p each, which will cost her another £59.94. So add that to the £25 she's already paid out for the first 100 units. That gives her a new total of £84.94, which is still more than she's paying now, so no, she shouldn't switch either. And then question 7 is basically the same thing again, but for Arthur. So let's have a look at Arthur. So Arthur currently uses 456 units, and that costs him £91.20. So if he was to switch, the first 100 units would cost him £25, just like before. So then he's got another 356 units to pay for at 9p each. So 356 times by 0.09. That's going to cost him another £32.04. So add that to the 25 the first 100 units cost him. That gives him a new total of £57.04. That's less than he's paying now. So yes, he should definitely switch. For question 8, what you're looking for is who is a definite kind of switch and who definitely isn't. So you're comparing 25p per unit for the first 100. So anyone who's got near or less than 100 units definitely shouldn't switch, because they're not going to benefit from that lower 9p per unit price after that. Anyone who's got a lot of units and is paying more than 9p per unit for their electricity at the moment might benefit, so you'd have to double check and work that out. So for example, Sophie definitely shouldn't, because she uses only 200 units and it's only 11p each, so there's no way that's going to come close. Julia likewise uses less than 100, so there's no way she should change, because she won't benefit from the cheaper 9p per unit rate after the first 100 units are used. Let's have a look at Ella. Ella uses a lot, and she's paying 12p per unit, so she would almost certainly save, and we could check and work it out. Edith, barely over 100 units, so she's unlikely to make any savings. And Darcy, again, she's using a lot, so she's likely to save. So you could do the same process for each person, but you can kind of take a shortcut. Anyone who's using less or close to 100, they're not going to benefit anyway. Anyone who's using quite a lot more than 100 units, they might benefit. Question 9, no right or wrong answers here. This is just really your opinion, but some interesting discussion points. So different prices, well, if they offer different prices, that can encourage competition, so perhaps that can help bring prices down. Flip side of that is, of course, it's not always that straightforward. Like, for example, Sparks going, well, for the first so many units you pay this much and then you pay this much. It's not always easy to work out if that's going to save you money or not. A company offering different prices to new and existing customers. An interesting one. New prices for new customers are usually better to try and get customers to join, and then what tends to happen is the prices go up, or you don't get the new deals once you're already an existing customer, because I think they sort of rely on people not shopping around and wanting to change. So an interesting one to discuss. And then the more units you buy, the cheaper they get. Well, in some ways, lots you put, yeah, that seems fair enough because you've already paid a lot for the electricity. Some of you argued the other point that you should be trying to use less, and it's about being more efficient with our appliances or energy usage. So some interesting discussion points there as well.